Hey, it's Emma Chamberlain. I designed these new glasses for Warby Parker and I basically can't take them off. Like, I'm showering in them and sleeping in them. They're just that good. Go see them all at warbyparker.com. And you know what? Have a good day too. Okay? All right? Bye.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
This is Optimal Work Daily, the complicated but beautiful process of finding your calling, by Jeff Goins of goinswriter.com. My last day of working a day job also happened to be my 30th birthday, which made it a milestone in many ways. The truth, though, is the day itself, as climactic as it was less significant than the process it took to get there. How I came closer to my calling. For years, I wanted to write. I kept a blog and wrote for magazines, but never took it too seriously. When Ashley and I decided to have a baby, all that changed. We couldn't live off just my income, and she wanted to stay home to be a mom, so I became determined to make that happen. For 2 years, I stayed up late and got up early, squeezing in a few extra minutes of writing whenever I could. I didn't quite know what I was doing, or even how I would do it, but I just kept writing and sharing my work and trying to grow an audience. I knew that if I could get people to pay attention to my work, I'd find a way to make a living off my words. Then, after 18 months of hustle, a few opportunities emerged. Over the course of 6 months, I launched 2 books, one self-published and another traditionally published, started speaking at conferences, and released an online course. By the end of the year, we tripled our income. I was so focused on the goal of replacing Ashley's income that I wasn't paying attention to how much momentum was building. It took a wake-up call from a friend for me to realize what was really happening. My wake-up call. What's happened to you is rare, my friend Mark said to me one day while we were discussing whether or not I should quit my job. Nobody saw it coming. I know you, Jeff, and I didn't see it coming. You have to consider the possibility that if you don't do this, it might be an act of disobedience to God. After that conversation, I stopped thinking of this as an opportunity or even a dream and replaced it with a much weightier word, calling. And a month later, I met with my boss to tell him what I'd been working through. I said I was afraid of disappointing him. Jeff, he said, smiling, I'm not disappointed. I'm proud. The truth is, I've been waiting for this conversation. I think it's time. So, on March 31st, I worked my last day at the only real job I ever had, turned 30, and began my career as a professional writer. But that's not the whole story. This is the story I tell when people ask me how I got here, but there's so much more to it. Like the 7 years of learning about marketing and business while working at a nonprofit, or the unintentional practice I got in college as a writing tutor, or how my mom used to read me the dictionary on long road trips. The experience of finding your calling is both mysterious and practical. It takes effort, but also seems to happen to you at times. What I've come to understand is that finding your purpose is more of a path than a plan. It involves unexpected twists and turns that at times look like accidents, but actually are a part of the process. Everyone, I think, is searching for a purpose, for something to satisfy their deepest desires. I believe that something is a calling. What does that mean? To me, a calling means the reason you were born. It's that thing you were meant to do, and finding it is never as simple or as easy as we'd like it to be. What I learned. When I began working on my new book, The Art of Work, I thought I knew what the process of finding your calling looked like, but what I learned surprised me. Discovering your life's purpose, it turns out, isn't quite so simple. The journey looks different for everyone, but there are also common themes that tend to appear. So I had a thought. What if what happened to me wasn't so rare? What if everyone has a calling? So for a year and a half, I've been trying to answer that question. And after interviewing hundreds of people, reading tons of biographies, and reflecting more honestly on my own story, here's what I've learned. You can't do this on your own. You need help. Mark was one of many guides who helped me understand my life and what to do with it. You'll have to practice. It won't be easy. If you want to discover your life's work, you'll have to fight for it. And you won't just know. Discovery happens in stages, and clarity will come with action. the most important thing you can do is take the next step. In the book, I feature stories of everyday people whose names you probably won't recognize, and that was intentional. I wanted to communicate that calling is not something for chosen ones, but for everyone. And in these seemingly ordinary stories, I think we understand our own lives a little better. At times, I think we all feel like our own stories are a little too ordinary for our liking. But what if in that ordinariness, there was something extraordinary we could tap into? That's the idea of the book. You just listened to the post titled The Complicated but Beautiful Process of Finding Your Calling by Jeff Goins of goinswriter.com. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. Just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
And thanks to Jeff for giving us permission to narrate from his blog today. He is a full-time writer who lives just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. He's the best-selling author of 5 books, including The Art of Work, which you heard about in today's post, as well as Real Artists Don't Starve. Now, Jeff believes that we all have a creative gift worth sharing with the world. So whether you have a business idea, a book in you, or some other project you want to start, Jeff's goal is to help you get that work out of you and into the world. His website has been visited by more than 4 million people from all over the world, and he's a great writer, so definitely check out his books and his blog. And a fun fact about him, he humbly considers himself the world's foremost expert on guacamole. So come by goinswriter.com for a lot more. Again, that's GOINS writer.com. And that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for being here on this Friday edition of the show. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to see you back here over the weekend where your optimal life awaits.